So, Elias, we've talked about fire, the first great leap of humanity. You said the second was agriculture. But why? Why did farming change everything?
Fire gave us power over nature, Orion. But agriculture gave us control over time itself.
Time?
Yes. Before farming, we were wanderers nomads chasing the seasons, following herds, surviving on what the land provided. We lived in uncertainty, at the mercy of nature. Every day was a gamble. Would we find food, or would we starve? Would the rains come, or would we perish? Then, we discovered something remarkable. Seeds.
The first crops?
Imagine it, Orion. A group of weary hunters stumble upon a patch of wild grain. They eat it, but some seeds remain in the dirt. Months later, when they pass by again, the grain has grown back. They begin to wonder, what if we don't need to chase food? What if we can make food come to us? That single thought changed history.
So farming was an accident?
Like most great discoveries, yes. But understanding it, mastering it, took centuries. The first farmers didn't plant neat rows of crops in well-irrigated fields. No, Orion. They were simply experimenting, learning, adapting. They scattered seeds and hoped for the best. And when they saw the results, they knew this was a power greater than fire.
But it wasn't that simple, was it? Farming takes time. It's risky. What if crops fail?
That's exactly the problem. Farming required something humans had never known before: patience. You see, Orion, hunting is instant success, or failure happens in a moment. But farming demands waiting. Months of waiting. And with that waiting came a new concept: planning.
Civilization.
Exactly. Once we started growing food, we could stay in one place. Villages formed around fertile land. Populations grew. Families no longer wandered. They built homes, storage pits, granaries. They learned to think ahead, to plan not just for today, but for years. And that, Orion, was the birth of civilization.
But civilization isn't just about staying in one place. It's about culture, law, order. When did that begin?
As soon as food became property.
Property?
Think about it. Before farming, there was nothing to own. Food was hunted, gathered, eaten, and forgotten. But now, we had surplus grain stored in clay pots, harvests that lasted through winter. And when something can be owned, it can be stolen.
So farming didn't just create civilization. It created crime?
And war. Orion, when a hunter kills an animal, the fight is over. But when a farmer grows a field of wheat, he must defend it. Walls were built, weapons sharpened, alliances formed. Tribes became villages. Villages became cities. Leaders emerged, not the strongest hunters, but the ones who controlled the food. Power shifted.
This sounds almost inevitable.
It was. Agriculture was a trapone we walked into willingly. Farming gave us security, but it chained us to the land. No longer free, we were bound to fields, crops, seasons. Work became harder, diseases spread in crowded villages, and famine became a new kind of terror.
So you're saying agriculture was a mistake?
No, Orion. I'm saying it was the price we paid for progress.
But there had to be benefits beyond just food. What about knowledge, innovation?
Now you see. Once we had stability, we had something no human before had ever truly possessed: free time. And free time led to thinking.
The first scientists?
The first inventors, the first mathematicians, the first architects. Farmers needed to track seasons, so they watched the skies, creating the first calendars. They needed water, so they dug irrigation systems. They needed tools, so they shaped plows. And when disputes arose over land, food, or property, they needed laws.
The foundation of everything.
Yes. Everything we are today: cities, nations, technology began with a single seed planted in the dirt.
And the first great civilizations, Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, were built upon it.
Built and often destroyed by it. Because as food became power, those who controlled it ruled. Kings rose. Empires formed. The first wars weren't fought over gold or land. They were fought over harvests.
If that's true, Elias, if everything started with farming, then what's the next step? What's humanity's next great leap?
The next step, Orion, was the rise of writing. Because knowledge, once discovered, needed to be preserved, and words. Words would become the greatest weapon of all.